In this episode, we're making Tinga tacos on the trail. Welcome to CB Overland. Good morning. Welcome to eastern Utah, I suppose. In the central portion of the state, a little bit outside of Moab. We're out exploring a little today. Right now we're about 3,000 miles, just shy of 3,000 miles into our 24 10K. 10,000 mile adventure living out of this rig here. Now we're just doing a little exploring on some of these trails. Just off of, it's called Spring Canyon Road. And there's a bunch of little offshoots that lead out to a really beautiful canyon overlook. And the landscape just kind of changes as you trek through this. This really is some of my favorite parts of the day. Get, put her in 4 low and just crawl through an adventure.
This spot that we found at the end of the trail is absolutely beautiful. Took the trail all the way out to the end, and there's just this beautiful canyon that goes through here. Find some of the epic spots. It's just amazing.
Man, Utah does not disappoint. This little offshoot was awesome to come down to. Just check out this whole canyon. It's absolutely beautiful, once again. But it's about mid-morning, coming up a little close to noon. We're going to get a few things prepped for dinner tonight. The aforementioned Tinga tacos on the trail. We're going to make some chicken Tinga. We're going to start off making some pickled veg. That's the reason why I'm starting early here. So we can let that marinate and pickle all afternoon while we're out cruising around and get our Tinga prepped. So that's got some time to sit in its juices. Just pull the nicks out of the blade there. It's a nice little hone. Keep up on the knives. How you doing, Blue? Gonna grab out the rest of the veg here. A couple carrots. Some jalapenos. Cilantro. And some garlic. Now, this pickled veg we're starting with. When I was at a little Mexican cantina down in, I think it was Acamal or Tulum, somewhere down in the Yucatan. They had these sitting out in just dishes. It was kind of like the appetizer, hanging out at this little taqueria. And I just fell in love with it. I love eating it just as a snack, and especially with the tacos. So we're going to pickle up a bunch of veg, onions, carrots, jalapenos, a little bit of garlic, and some fresh cilantro. So I'm going to whack that all together, get a pickling liquid going, and get that into a jar so it can hang out for the day. We got our veg out, ready to be prepped here. We get started with a little pickling liquid, which I'm going to just do 1-to-1 water and vinegar. Which in this case, for that quart jar, I'm kind of guesstimating a little bit. I'm going to try 1.5 cups of each. And probably a tablespoon of salt. And we're just going to, it's just some white vinegar. That into our saucepan. Sure. We'll get that on the burner, get that heated up. Really, you don't need to cook it for long. We're just going to dissolve that salt and dissolve the salt and get it hot so that it just makes all the veg tender when we get that in there. Don't really want to cook it, but get a lid on that to stop the rapid evaporation that happens out here. I was boiling pasta the other night and I lost half my pasta water to the atmosphere. Forget about these things when it's dry. Anyways, peel up some carrots. Well, I've already got a mess going here. I'm going to create a little more. Peel out a couple cloves of garlic. Couple, 3. I grew up watching Emma Lagasse, so more garlic is just always a thing. I love it. I think Chelsea does too. All right, clean this up and whack through that veg. All right, give carrots a little slice. These on the bias, so you got a little more to grab and bite into. Crack through the onions here. Going with the grain of the onion for this. And everything's in pretty big chunks for this. With the grain, it means I'm just following the lines with the onion and cutting around like so. Here's some jalapenos. I think we're boiling over here. It's accurate. Shut that down. Salt's all dissolved. I'll just leave the lid on that. It's plenty warm today, so that'll stay plenty hot for what we got going on. Hack through the rest of these jalapenos. All right, I'm just going to alternate a little bit with the ingredients as I fill this jar. Drop a few carrots in. Break up the onions a little bit. Some jalapenos. And over here is just some fresh leaf cilantro. I'm not going to chop up and leave it whole because I don't really, I don't want little bits of it. I just want the cilantro flavor in the pickle. Just drop some right in there. And the garlic. Start over. Carrots. onions. Jalapenos. See how all this fits in here. I might have timed this or measured this one out perfect. Just about. All right. Nice. Filled up that jar just about perfect. We'll grab our pickling liquid here. Salty brine. Nice and full so that all the veg is covered. All right, I'm going to pop a lid on that. Take all the air bubbles out of there. All right, and that's just going to hang out and do its thing all day. And we'll have some fresh, quick pickled veggies for our Tinga tacos tonight. Clean up the board here. Get into the chicken. And now onto the chicken Tinga portion. We'll get through another onion here. This one's just kind of a slow simmer. Then the reason I'm making this earlier in the day, so I give it the opportunity to sit and marinate in all the juices that we cook it in. Kind of like soup, you know? It's always better, soup and sauces. They're always better the next day. So I'm going to give this a few hours to marinate in that. And then when we pull this chicken back out, we'll give it a little fry and kind of crisp it up in the pan. Same thing on this one. Or with the grain, if you will. All right. Put that to the side. Grab out our chicken and our little secret ingredient, I guess. It's a little bacon grease we're going to add to the mixture here. It saved that little bit of bacon grease left over from the last episode if you watched the carbonara. But let's grab out some chicken, some tomatoes, that's it. It's pretty simple. There's another one I'm going to see if I can not spill chicken juices everywhere. This is really all just going to simmer. So it doesn't really matter if I have the pan on or not. So I'm just going to lay all these ingredients in, add a little bit of water, and let this simmer for a little bit. Get that burner going. Have this little bacon grease in the fridge, so I was hoping the sun would lube it up a little bit. Let's see. Pork fat rules. Very nice. Now we'll add some much needed fat to this very lean protein. Drop some onions in. This one inspired by another restaurant. I used to work at a restaurant called Tacos and Beer in Las Vegas, and amazing Mexican food. They're roasting meat all morning. It was fantastic. You come in to open the bar and it just smells like roasted meat. But chicken tinga was one of my favorites on the menu there. So I've learned to prep this up in my own fashion, kind of copy their dish. So anybody from Tacos is watching, thanks. I'm just gonna add some tomatoes. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to the party here. Let's see how much. Just want this to simmer in its own juices. And then we'll reduce all that cooking liquid back down into it. All right, that is looking pretty good. Let's head into the arsenal and spice this up. A little bit of chili powder, a little more. Some smoked paprika. A bunch of these seasonings are, this is not pirated from the restaurant. This is just some of the flavor profile that I like, and I like this smoky flavor. And our own adaptation of it. A little cumin. Oregano. Some fresh cracked pepper. Let's put all this in here and mixed in. And all this chicken's going to be shredded later. So we just need it to cook thoroughly and get happy with all those juices. Alright, keep an eye on this a little bit. Kind of want to get it to a simmer so it's not rapid boiling. It's a little windy out here today, so I'm doing a little flame management against the wind. There. Looks like we got some small bubbles going. And throw a lid on that and just let that go for a while. It's been about 20 minutes. Just flip these over a couple of times. Man, smell-o-vision should be a thing. Ah, it just looks fantastic. It smells great. Now I'm going to leave the lid off of this for a little bit and let this sauce reduce in here. It should only take a little bit. It's very dry out here. And we'll let that reduce, concentrate all the flavors down. And then we're going to pull the chicken out of here and shred that up. Suppose the reason I'm going to pull that out of here is this is a non-stick pan. It's not expensive or anything. It's a cheap Winco pan. You can get them on Amazon for like 20 bucks. But I'm not going to use a metal fork inside this pan. It'll score the Teflon surface and then render it useless and potentially toxic. So I'm going to pull that chicken out into the stainless steel pan I used for that vinegar a little bit earlier. Shred the chicken, and then mix this all back in with its juices in a storage container. And we'll chuck all that in the fridge and continue on exploring for the day. But still give this a little bit to let that sauce reduce, concentrate some flavors. All right, that really only took about 5 minutes to let this reduce down a little bit. It's reduced down by almost half already. Oh. So overall, it's been about 20, 25 minutes in here. Just to be on the safe side. Grab a thermometer out of here. Check this big guy. Awesome. It was right at 165, pushing 170. That is perfect. Cut the fire to that. Yeah, look at that sauce. Ah, it just turned out great. All the bacon fat. Mmm. All right. Let's leave our onions behind. Pull this chicken out. All right, grab a couple forks. Shred that up. And we're just going to pull that chicken and shred it. All right. Chicken broken down. Had that sauce a minute to cool. Pull our chicken back out into our sauce. That looks lovely. All right. Package that up. Let this hang out in the fridge for the next few hours. Let the chicken soak up all those juices. Lovely flavor. Got this all packaged up. We're gonna get cleaned up around here. Go out and explore some more of this beautiful area. We'll see you again later for dinner. Good evening, and welcome to another epic camp spot. Man, have we been fortunate on this trip. It's just absolutely beautiful. We had explored a little bit further around the rim of this canyon where we prepped the Tinga earlier. And we came just around the bend of this and found this epic view. It's just the other side of what you're seeing right now. It is absolutely epic. On this beautiful rock shelf with some juniper popping out. Yeah, it's amazing. But the sun's getting low and I'm getting hungry. So let's finish our taco prep. Start off by making some pico de gallo. There's been some really beautiful sunsets up here too. Sun just kind of bounces back off the mountain here. Canyon, rather. I guess it's kind of a mountain too, over there. Beautiful place to stay. Well, make a pico. It's pretty simple. Tomatoes. In this case, I'm using a little red onion, some jalapenos, and a little cilantro. I like adding a little cumin into there as well. And the produce around here has been fantastic. Found a great little grocery store in Moab. So we're just going to dice everything up, get everything to a uniform size-ish. These are pretty sweet little bowls. They're insulated, kind of like a coffee tumbler. Works great for hot and cold. Found these a couple of years ago. I think the brand is 50/50. They're really nice. Now I'll just use it to keep it cold, and these little silicone, silicone, I guess, tops to keep the dust out. It's a little windy today. Really like using shop towels out here. No paper towel brand, at least that I know of, seems to hold up. They all just get all pilly and just peel apart and leave more of a mess. Or just fall apart and don't do the job in the first place. So I just stop by, once a week or so and pick up a roll from O'Reilly's. Just crack through an onion. It's flying here. This is a small airport just outside of Moab. We've had a few small planes, helicopter. Wonder what they're up to. And some jalapenos. Cut the end off of that. I'll work my way around. Not too bad. The pith can be very bitter. Try and get rid of most of that. Beautiful. Bit of fresh cilantro. Grab a little cumin here. And some fresh lime. Give that a massage, let it know we want the juices out of it. Nice. Try not to let the wind take everything here. There we go. That looks gorgeous. All right. That's prepped. Go let that go for a chill session in the refrigerator. Grab out the rest of the ingredients. Get some toast and some tortillas. And frying some tinga. Some tortillas. Nestled back in there. Hang out. Oh, all that tinga. It's been marinating in those juices. That's going to be delicious. All right. On with the program. The old burner's lit up here. Ooh. Pause. We're going to need a little bit of fat to fry this up in. I know we use a little bacon grease to make that, but we want a little bit of fat in the bottom to fry this up. Somewhere in here is some duck fat. So I'm going to dig in this fridge like it's Mary Poppins' purse and find that. I wonder what else is below there. All right, back to fire. Light up a burner to toast our tortillas. The other one going to start frying the tinga. Just little dog hair. I think if you're a dog owner, you just accept that you're going to eat some sort of volume of dog hair. Oh, can you smell that? You can't. Sorry. Ah. Pull some of that lovely pulled chicken and onions out of there. You woke up and thought about it for a second. Our feeding habits might be a little opposite than most, or some, whatever. They eat before we do. Might be popular to make them wait to establish hierarchy or things like that. But in our case, we feed them, so they do this while I do this. That cranked up to get some color on this. And that burner wide open. Look at that, it's beautiful. Crispy, crunchy. It's gonna be great. All right, let's plate these up. Grab our pico. And the pickled veg we made earlier. All right. base of that beautiful chicken. Onions and tomatoes made earlier. Get in here and fish a little bit for some pickled veg. It's got a lot of acidity. It'll be nice to play with the heat. Some fresh pickled onion in there. I know Chelsea likes it spicy, so jalapenos. Beautiful. Top with a little bit of our fresh pico. It's been hanging out, marrying its flavors. Look at that. There you have it. Some chicken tinga tacos on the trail. That's going to be delicious. What about you? You tell me what you think.
All right, let's give these tacos a try. That looks so delicious. Smells even better too. These are so good. The crunchiness of the pickled food, of the pickled carrots and the onions, the fresh pico on top, and the chicken. You made a good meal, babe.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. It was a lot of fun. We got to explore around this canyon. It was a really pretty area. Check out some new trails we've never seen before. And thanks for coming along to make some Tinga tacos. I'm going to get down on some more tacos. Watch this gorgeous sunset. We'll see you in the next one, guys. So I'm just sitting here, pounding down on these tacos, and we've got some pork rinds here too. And when I worked at that restaurant, there's not a lot of break room really for restaurants. You're just kind of sitting down in a cooler, or for us it was the dry storage room, some straws and napkins and stuff, and we're just huddled up in a corner. This brought me right back to that. I used to eat a plate of chicharrones and a bunch of tacos on my break at work. So it took me right back. It's fantastic. To be back just sitting in a tiny storage room in an alley in Vegas. Cheers, guys.